You've heard the stories, right? This patch of ocean where ships and planes just vanish, where compasses go haywire and the very laws of physics seem to just give up. Well, today we're going to tear apart one of the biggest, spookiest legends of the 20th century, the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay, let's start with the feeling. To really get why this myth took hold, you have to understand the fear behind it. You had seasoned pilots, veteran sailors, people who knew the ocean better than their own backyards, coming back and saying that some places weren't just weird. They were malevolent, like the place itself was actively trying to hurt you.
And this is the image that pops into your head, isn't it? Some kind of supernatural trap. A swirling vortex to another dimension, a portal to who knows where. A spot on the map where the ocean can just open up and swallow you whole. It's a terrifying thought, and for decades, it absolutely captivated people.
So where is this infamous place anyway? Well, its other name kind of gives you a clue about its reputation. Some people call it the Devil's Triangle. Yeah, doesn't exactly sound like a great vacation spot.
Now, you won't find this on any official map, but everyone pretty much agrees on the boundaries. You draw a line from Miami, down to Puerto Rico, up to Bermuda, and back to Miami. That triangle you just made, that's it. It covers over 1 million square kilometers of open ocean. And here's the kicker. It's one of the most heavily trafficked shipping and flight paths on the entire planet.
And the numbers that believers throw around are just staggering. Over 50 ships and 20 planes gone. More than 1,000 people lost, supposedly without a single clue as to what happened. These stats, well, they're the foundation of the whole mystery.
So how does a story like this get so big? Well, it wasn't one big event. It was built up slowly, case by case, spooky story by spooky story, with each one adding another layer of what if to the whole thing.
Let's look at the greatest hits, if you will. Way back in 1918, a huge U.S. Navy ship, the USS Cyclops, just disappeared with 309 people. Then in 48 and 49, 2 British passenger planes, the Star Tiger and the Star Ariel, both went missing. In 1955, a yacht is found just floating, totally empty. But the one case, the one that really sealed the deal for the legend, happened in 1945. Flight 19. The story is just cinematic. 5 U.S. Navy bombers flown by expert pilots. The weather? Perfect. And they just flew off the map. Their last radio calls were pure chaos. Compasses spinning, the ocean looked wrong, they had no idea where they were. And then, nothing. Just silence. And if that wasn't weird enough, one of the rescue planes sent to find them, it vanished too.
So with stories like that, is it any wonder that the explanations got a little out there? Seriously, people suggested everything. Giant sea monsters, alien abductions. Some people were convinced it was leftover energy crystals from the lost city of Atlantis. Others tried to sound a bit more scientific, talking about weird electronic fogs or electromagnetic vortices. The whole shebang.
I mean, it is a fantastic, terrifying story. You can't deny that. But here's the big question. Is any of it actually true? Is there really a mystery here at all?
All right, let's start pulling on a few threads. Because once you start looking at the facts that got conveniently left out of the story, the whole legend starts to unravel pretty quickly. Let's go back to Flight 19. The myth says 5 expert pilots, right? The reality? It was a training mission, and only the flight leader was truly experienced. The myth claims perfect weather. Well, weather reports from that day show strong winds and really high seas. And the compasses going wild? Turns out the flight leader had a history of getting lost. They didn't just vanish, they almost certainly ran out of fuel and crashed into a stormy ocean. Oh, and that rescue plane that also vanished? It was a model nicknamed the Flying Gas Tank because it was so prone to exploding in midair. Now this might be the most powerful piece of evidence of all. This number, 0. What is it? It's the extra amount of money that huge insurance companies like Lloyd's of London charge for ships to sail through the Bermuda Triangle. That's right, 0. They don't see it as any more dangerous than any other stretch of ocean. And trust me, if there's anyone on Earth who's obsessed with calculating risk, it's an insurance company. And if you look at the actual data on where ships are lost, the Bermuda Triangle isn't even close to the top of the list. Between 2013 and 2022, Southeast Asia had over 200 losses. The Eastern Mediterranean had 118. The Triangle area? It barely even makes a dent in comparison. So if it's not some evil vortex, what's really going on? Well, it's just a combination of perfectly natural and dangerous things. First, weather. The area sits in Hurricane Alley, so the storms are sudden and violent. Second, geology. It has the Puerto Rico Trench, one of the deepest spots in the Atlantic. If something sinks there, good luck ever finding it. Third, the ocean itself. The Gulf Stream is a powerful current that can scatter wreckage over huge distances in just a few hours. And finally, rogue waves. We now know they're real. They can be as tall as a 10-story building, and they can sink a massive ship in minutes.
So you see, the real mystery isn't what happened to the ships and planes. The real mystery is how this story got invented in the first place.
And it turns out this mystery wasn't discovered. It was manufactured. It started small, with a press note in 1950 that just kind of linked a few disappearances. The catchy name, the Bermuda Triangle, didn't even exist until a writer named Vincent Gaddis came up with it in 1964. But the thing that really lit the fuse was a 1974 bestseller by Charles Berlitz, who went all in, connecting everything to aliens and Atlantis. And that book was a massive hit. A researcher named Larry Cushy was one of the first people to actually go back and check the original records, and he summed it up perfectly way back in 1975. He said, "The legend of the Bermuda Triangle is an invented mystery, perpetuated by writers who resorted to misconceptions, faulty reasoning, and sensationalism. Basically, they ignored the facts to tell a much better story." But here's a funny thing. In the last few decades, the mystery itself seems to be, well, vanishing. Think about it. When was the last time you heard about a new spooky disappearance in the Bermuda Triangle? Why don't we hear about it anymore? The answer is really about perception versus reality. On one side, you have the myth, this terrifying image of a ship being eaten by the sea. And on the other, you have the boring reality. It's just one of the world's busiest travel corridors, with thousands of planes and ships passing through safely every single day. The truth is, our modern world is a much harder place for mysteries like this to hide. Technology, GPS, satellites, advanced radar, plus much better safety rules just mean that fewer accidents happen in the first place. And when they do, we're way better at figuring out what went wrong, leaving almost no room for aliens or portals to another dimension. Look, the ocean is always going to be a mysterious, powerful, and sometimes deadly place. But the legend of the Bermuda Triangle was never really about the ocean. It was about us. It's a great reminder that sometimes the stories we love the most aren't the ones that are true, but the ones that tap into our biggest fears. So the real question is, what does it say about us that we needed to invent a monster to blame? And what myths are we busy inventing right now?